Hi, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel The Code School. This is my baby channel and it's to grow a big boy. Please subscribe to the channel and help this channel to grow as a big boy. Leave your comments, feedbacks, inputs into the comment sections. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. Today's topic is AWS Amplify. Alright, what is AWS Amplify then? AWS Amplify is set of tools and services which bundles number of AWS services to address the requirement of full stack application development. Here are a number of examples to make you understand where the AWS Amplify fits the best. Either you are planning to develop custom onboarding flows or voice enabled experiences or artificial intelligence powered real-time feeds, or trying to launch a targeted campaign and any other similar stuff. No matter what is your use case, AWS Amplify is going to give you lots of ease while you are addressing the customer different requirements, and your customer is absolutely going to love the experience. AWS Amplify framework comes with three different components: libraries, UI components, and CLI toolchain. Components can be used together or they can be used on their own. Alright, so libraries can be related to authentications, data store, API, storage, analytics, interactions, push notifications, pub subs, predictions, etc. UI components can be JavaScript, React, Angular, Vue.js on a web application site or web platform, Android, iOS, React Native, and Iconic for the mobile platform. CLI toolchain is AWS Amplify CLI command line interface, which helps to create and maintain the serverless backend on AWS platform. Let's dive deeper to the AWS Amplify details with the help of the demo. So this demo can be little bit bulky in a size, but I can ensure this is going to be fun learning. This demo will show you how easy it is to set up a dynamic web application with AWS Amplify and deliver it over the CI/CD, which is also managed by AWS Amplify, along with all the front-end and back-end libraries that it is maintaining. Alright, this is the coolest outcome that you are going to get it once you follow this video along and finish up. This is called the Code School Notes app. This app helps the user to capture their notes. It can be about the activity or it can be about certain important point the user wants to capture and use it throughout the day or certain time period. Once they don't need those notes, they can simply click the delete note and get rid of those notes. As this dynamic web application is developed based on AWS Amplify, this is subdivided in two parts: the front-end technologies and the back-end stacks. So in a back-end stacks, we are using the back-end serverless backends, and here we have a couple of services from AWS to use. The first one is AWS Cognito. AWS Cognito is going to manage the user, the registration, sign in, sign off, access control. That means altogether the authentication and authorization of the user. The second service, which is very important to store all of the information that you see here, like a notes, name, descriptions, etc., goes into DynamoDB, which is NoSQL database offering from AWS. And third service, S3, we are using the storage service here for all the image files that we display in this website, which we upload, the user uploads into the website, goes into S3 bucket. The fourth and very important, the glue piece is between the React and the backend, especially the database storage from the S3 storage. The images, those has to be pulled out and given as a single response to React, or when the React is sending out the data to create the data piece into the database or S3, or both are going to be handled by GraphQL API. GraphQL API serves the REST API services to React to be able to do the CRUD operations. I can personally assure for any of the unknowns like React.js or any other technologies that I'll be using for development of this project is going to be a hurdle for you to follow the steps. No, don't worry. If you are with me following all of the steps, it will be cakewalk for you. Apart from all other technologies that I have mentioned here, AWS Amplify is going to directly use some other technologies like Lambda, CloudFormations, IAM, and many more. But we are not worried about it. If you are not knowing them, don't have to break your head at all. So as a software requirement, a prerequisite is to install Node npm and Git client in your platform, the machine that you are going to use. So if you don't have, don't worry about it. Go straight to the description. You will find two of the links to download the Git client and Node installations and install them, and then start following the video. To begin with the demo, as a first step, you need to create a React.js project, and there is a dependency on Node.js and npm. So you can download them straight from this website, nodejs.org. This is the link. I'll be leaving this link in a description as well. So you can download and follow the steps which is mentioned in this website. Somewhere in your local drive you can have a directory with any name. I have Amplify, and in here you can start your terminal or command prompt. If you're on Windows, it's a command prompt, and if you have the node installed, then you can say node -v. It will show you the version number, and you can use the command npx create React app and give a name as a Amplify app. This is the name of the application. Wait for this application to be created by npx command. It will take a while. Once the application is created, you can cd in with the application name Amplify app, and you can find out some of the directory structures and default files are created. The important is src and package.json. This is just a default React application. You can just run npm start to double check that application created we are able to run in a browser. So wait for the browser to launch with the application fully. It seems that npm is still compiling. So once this is done, then you can find it the home page of React.js application that you have just now created is loaded in the browser. So let's switch the gear to the Git repository. In a while, we'll come back and continue this application. Open github.com in a browser, and you can find out sign in and sign up link. You can sign up for a new account. If you don't have any account, you can fill in the details and sign up and create a new account, and then come back and sign in. If you have already the account, please sign in and log into your GitHub account. Once you're signed into the GitHub account, you can find the new button here to create a new repository. So go ahead and create a new repository. You can name the repository as a AWS Amplify or Amplify app. See what is available if you have not used inside your account. Click on the create repository. Wait for the operations to complete. So the Git repository is created. Let's follow the rest of the steps which is mentioned over here to do our first check into this repository. The applications that we have created, so exactly that's the application we are going to check into this Git repository that we have newly created. Hope you have a Git client on your machine. If not, then don't worry about it. Here is the link. You can follow the steps and install the Git client on your machine. In your browser, you can open a tab and type git download and follow the first link. You will see this options given as per your operating system. Download the one that suits to your platform and follow the steps. So we have a repository, we have a Git client. So what we are waiting for, let's follow the steps here. Let's take this particular one, copy it, and go to your CMD. You can stop the application for the moment. We'll come back with the more improvements, and paste the URL that you have copied for the git add remote like this, and then enter. We have just added the URL of the Git repository here, and next step, just push this to origin. So you can just follow this. Hopefully we have not added any of the files from the project, so probably that is something we have to do it. So let's try to give the authentication parameters and see that what happens. So it's transferring the data. That means it is taking everything and putting it back into the repository. So let's verify. Let's look at the repository what we have now. Let's refresh this repository and see that what we got it here. Okay, so we have the React project coming and sitting inside our Git repository. All right, log into your AWS Management Console and search for the services Aws Amplify, and go to the Aws Amplify Dashboard. You can find it out two options: the develop get started and deploy get started. Click on the deploy get started button, and then you can find 5 different options as a repository option. The one that we are going to use is GitHub, but you can do pretty much same thing with Bitbucket or AWS Git Code Commit, GitLab, or without Git provider. So I'm going to just select this GitHub and say continue. Wait for the next widget to come. Drop down is going to list all of your repository options, and you can find out exact repository that you want to use for this project. So for me, it's Amplify app. If you have followed the same name, you can follow the selection. And in the branch, I'm having the only branch as a master branch, and I'm going to pick up that one for completing this project. So I'll go to the next step. I'm not making any change to the branch. In here, I'm not making any modification. Let's accept the default one, say next, and save and deploy. You'll see the AWS Amplify started provisioning and then building. If you want to see the logs, what's going on here, you can find it out. It first cloned the repository, that means it's connected to your Git repository that you have given, and copied the code over here. And as a second step, it has taken that front end and started compiling it. So sooner the build is completed, it will deploy. It's a deploy is successful, and it is in a verification stage. So once the deployment is completed and the verification is done, that means any test required to run on this to verify application is healthy and working properly. So all of the 4 stages, which is a part of CI/CD, the continuous integration and continuous deliveries, is taken care by the AWS Amplify. Sooner the code is checked into your repository, it can be either GitHub for our example, or it can be code commit or something else. the code will start provisioning, building, deploying, and verifying stage will automatically start. So that's the CI/CD, automatic CI/CD, which kicks in with the help of AWS Amplify. AWS Amplify is taking all of the infrastructure needs from its side, and not only that, it also provides you the domain by default to go live. So if you click on this domain, you can see your application loading, and whatever we have saw in our local machine, the application was started. Similar way you can find it out, and you will see the same look and feel over here. So this is enough done for the basic setup. We have created our npm React project, and then we push those code to the Git repository, where we have created the Git repository, and then push them. Then we link the Git repository to the AWS Amplify, and then Amplify started listening to those changes in a repository and started provisioning, building, deploying, verifying, all these four stages of the CI/CD, and this is all completely automatically managed by the AWS Amplify. And for this all four steps to manage internally, AWS Amplify uses CloudFormation. So our next step is to add the serverless backends. So let's start with installing the AWS Amplify CLI, and then we'll start adding the libraries like Cognito for authorization, authentication, and for backend API calls, the REST API call, we are going to use GraphQL API. So we'll add second GraphQL APIs as a second step. Third one, we are going to add the DynamoDB, and the fourth one is 3, and then we are done with this project. So minimize this one and get your CMD or terminal back. Here we are going to type npm install -g @aws amplify /CLI. Wait for this installation to complete. We are using the npm. If you're not familiar, this is a node package manager, which is going to download and install all of the package that we ask it to do it. So this is done, and always remember this last command that we have done for installation of AWS Amplify CLI. We ran it from the top directory of the same project of React. We have not changed the place, so don't change the directory, stay there. Our next step is to configure the Amplify. So we clear the screen and then say Amplify configure. Sooner it connects to AWS console. And you can go to IAM to create a new user. You can click on a users tab and say that add user, give a programmatic access. The name can be Amplify user, give a permission, attach policy, the administrator access, next tag, review, create user. This is completed. Then you can download this CSV file from here, which is nothing but access key ID and secret access key for this user. You will need it to complete the next steps in a configure in the command prompt. So once downloaded, you can open it in your local, but you can minimize for now. Go over here, you will see the region default selected as US East 1, but you can select as per your requirement. I'm going with the default, so I just hit the enter key, and then it will ask for the username, which is nothing but I created Amplify user, and then it is going to bring me back over here for this user to create, which I have already created, so I can just skip it out and minimize again and come back, hit the enter button again. Open your CSV file that you have downloaded. So I'm just going to uh, pause and then give a access key ID and secret key ID, and then I'll resume it. Once given both of the information from your CSV file, you can hit enter. You can skip the profile, leave it as a default. User is created successfully. This is the message that you get. Next step, to initialize the Amplify app, which means we set up the backend environment. Minimize the terminal or CMD, open the console, AWS management console, which I mean, and at the last first step, last thing that we did, here we have the Amplify Console, which you can see the front end, and if you click on your application, you can find out the front end environment and the back end environment. So click on the back end environment. We have done this first step to set up the CLI, and we also in fact configured it. Now this is the second command you would like to do, execute to basically initialize your backend environment. So you need to do it from the same place in the same directory. So go over the terminal once again, the one that we were using all the times, and then paste this command and hit enter. Let this application initialize, the backend application initialize in a same folder where you are having the front end application. So both of them are in the same place. If you wish to change the app ID, this is something default. I'm just taking it, but if you like to give it something else, you can give the different one. And the app name that I'm going to give is Amplify app, which is the name of my app. This is dev environment for now. The default IDE I am going to use is Visual Studio Code VSC, and this is in fact a JavaScript project, React project. So keep hitting the enter, SRC. In fact, we are not changing anything. We are taking most of the things as a default and moving to the next step. Here it is going to use the AWS CloudFormation to set up all the backend services as well. And this way it finishes up. So you can say yes, why, and let this profile be default profile. Or if you want to change the profile to something else, then give that profile name. So behind the scene, there is a stack created inside the CloudFormation, and it is going to create various IAM roles which it requires, and the bucket for storing the stacks related information. Once the entire of the steps are created, now we are good with initialization of our AWS Amplify backend project, which means we can add any backend features now to our application. Okay, so this is the console which represents all this different stuff that has been done. So you can look at what is been done to this application and what is in progress. So right now a couple of steps are already running, and many of them are already finished. So you can look at any of the application if you have taken from the backend. So far none, so we are going to add few of them. Next step, we are going to add authentication service to our application. So firstly, we install the plugin inside the React, and then we'll follow the steps to add the backend authentication service. So minimize this and get to your command prompt or the terminal. You can clear the screen and start afresh. we'll wrap up the part 1 of the Amplify video here and continue the part 2 of the Amplify video. As the video is getting bulkier, I'm dividing it into the 2 different parts. So you can find the link in the description for the part 2 to refer and continue your learning.